getting people now.
Yes, yes.
I could.
Yeah.
So now how do you like to take the bites of these?
ये प्रतिभा का
enjoy this moment because when she wants, you should be there.
we are there. We are.
Global picture when I was just handling spaces. Now I'm handling the textile bit, and then the brands like Christie. Then I have.
She joined Brown, okay, because I think when we met, she was still in
school.
Yeah. So fantastic,
So how are you going to take this?
I think it's already.
You have to join the clan. You're not supposed to.
थोड़ा सा close.
They like a picture.
पीछे बन जाएगी इतने में थोड़ा सा क्लोज आ रही थोड़ा सा यस प्लीज मैडम दिस साइड मैम प्लीज
Good morning, ladies. We'll be starting the proceedings, and Manisha, can you close the door and ask others also to join in? To have this program on corporate divas, and may I now invite Neeta ji to start today's proceedings by giving her welcome address.
Madam Shri Ms. Naina Kidwai, immediate past President FICCI and Executive Director on the board of HSBC and Country Head HSBC India, Ms. Dipali Goenka, Managing Director Wellspun Global Brands Limited, Ms. Manisha Girotra, India Head Moelis Investment Bank, Ms. Sonia Golani, author Corporate Divas, past presidents of Flow, Dr. Kusum Ansal, Namita Gautam, Mukta Nandini Jain, Neena Malhotra, immediate past President Malvika Ji, Senior Vice President Archana Garodia Gupta, Executive Director of Flow Dr. Manju Kalra, and my dear Flow members. It is my privilege and honor to welcome the distinguished panel we have here with us to deliberate upon the rising power of women in the corporate world. Before I go on to today's program, I would like to update you on the forthcoming programs of Flow. A program on women's health is planned for May, management program at IIM Bangalore in August, designed exclusively for Flow members. Friends, the topic for today's discussion is very apt in the context of the ongoing debate of gender-inclusive growth in the 21st century. Although there has been much discussion on this topic both globally and nationally, most recently in the manifestos of the political parties, in reality, much more action needs to be taken if we are able to realize the full potential of women. The economic empowerment of women across the world is one of the most remarkable revolutions in the past 50 years. But there is still much more distance to travel on this journey. Today, the majority of companies have made it priority to advance women into leadership roles. However, a massive gender gap still remains when it comes to the positions at the top. In this regard, there's a great truth in the words of Eleanor Roosevelt. A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water. In India, although still greatly underrepresented, an increasing number of women have taken their place in the corporate hot seat. According to a survey of large Indian companies, around 11% have women CEOs. Interestingly, this is significantly higher than in the US, where only 3% of Fortune 500 companies had women CEOs. Today's session will provide an excellent opportunity to hear from them about the challenges they have faced and their mantras for success. The panelists today need little introduction. They are all business icons in their own right. Naina Kidwai, Dipali Goenka, Manisha Girotra are names synonymous with woman power in the corporate sector. They have broken through many barriers to forge paths where none had tread before. In the words of Sonia Golani, they are the corporate divas. We welcome you all, ma'am, to Flow. Today, these dynamic and determined decision makers will give us insights into the unconventional styles and secret mantras that have propelled them to such phenomenal business success. We look forward to learning from them about leadership, management, and work-life balance in 21st century corporate India. The panel discussion and interactive session with these super achievers is going to be moderated by Sonia Golani, author of Corporate Divas. The example of the Corporate Divas has already inspired many women to follow in their footsteps. I am sure that their motivating words will encourage all Flow members here today to aspire to even greater accomplishments in their professional and personal lives. I also hope that their example will reaffirm the importance of Flow's mission to educate and empower girls to create an impact, so that in years to come, many more Indian women have the opportunity to reach such heights. Here, I would also like to thank our sponsors for the year, Unitech Limited, Malaysia, a project of Metals Infrastructure, and Overnight Express. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Kusum Ansal, past President Flow. I now hand over the mic to Sonia Golani, the author of Corporate Divas, to take the discussions forward. Before that, we would like to welcome our guests with green certificates.
May I invite Neeta Bujra, Flow President, to give the green certificate to Naina Kidwai, who is also the immediate past President of Flow. Neeta, I invite you to also give the green certificate to Dipali, Goenka, Managing Director, Wellspun. Of course, Naina knew it, but for you, we don't give you flowers, but we grow trees in your name. So that is why the green certificate. May I invite Dr. Kusum Ansal, past President Flow, to give the green certificate to Manisha Girotra. May I invite Malvika Rai, immediate past President Flow, to give the green certificate to Sonia Gulani, the author of the Corporate Divas. Sonia, the mic is yours.
Indeed, such a delight to be here today amongst you all. And for this, first of all, let me thank Neeta Bujra for making this possible. Thank you, the esteemed panelists, for making it to the event. And last but not the least, all of you lovely people out there who have taken out time from your busy schedules to be here and make the event so vibrant. And now the thing is that Corporate Divas is a book which basically celebrates womanhood. It is a book which showcases the dreams, desires, ambitions, passion, perseverance, commitment, and achievements of India's leading businesswomen. 18 of them have been covered in the book, and we are fortunate to have 3 of them amongst us today, and to learn a lot from their experiences. This is a book which, particularly to me, it is something which inspires me on a day-to-day basis to learn more, to grow more, and most importantly, to never give up. I think that's one message which very loudly and clearly comes across through the book. So today, I think most of us would have just, noted the developments that are taking place around the world. The global conversation that is happening today is around the factor that there are more and more women who are graduating from higher institutes of learning. There are more and more women who are equipped with best of degrees, best of professional degrees also. What happens is that they do join the workforce, and up to the young professional level, middle professional level, we still have a substantial number of women who are working, particularly in the corporate sector. But as the positions go higher up, as women, it is at the leadership level basically where the number of women, it just tapers, and there are very few women who are able to finally make it to the top. And they are indeed the privileged minority who are there right now, because as Neeta just mentioned in the opening speech also, that even when you compare with US, the data looks, Indian data though looks little better, but I think there is a long way that we need to cover. And it is only majorly in the banking and financial services sector that women have been able to make the strides that they have in Indian context. And in the other spheres, of course, there is a lot of work which needs to be done, which is what we all understand, that we form 50% of the human race. So the question is that if we form, half the population of the world, why is it that we're not getting the rightful place when it comes to leadership positions in, the working life? Why women have to drop out? And conversations, my dear friends, I believe is a wonderful way to bring to life new ideas, new thoughts. And that's what I hope today's conversation is going to do. And with that, I think I'd like to put my first question to India's legendary corporate woman, Ms. Naina Kidwai. And for very right reasons, because if you look at the kind of working life that she's had, It was in 1977, I think, when she joined PwC. She was one of the first, I think, one of the first women who the organization gave offer to, and it made the organization think whether they should hire a woman or not. So coming from a scenario like that in the 70s, when today if anybody says PwC, KPMG, Accenture, they're full of women. I mean, the thought just doesn't go. So we've traveled a long way from the times when we didn't have right to vote. This is on a global context I'm talking. In India, of course, that was never the case. Women had to fight for their right to vote, right to property, right to education, right to work. Of course, we've come a long way from there. But as as recently as back as 3 decades back in 1977, when this was the situation. And then she happened to be the first woman who went to Harvard Business School, Indian woman, to be joining there. Incidentally, that was very interesting for me to read that Harvard, the current dean of Harvard, actually apologized very recently, saying that women, even at Harvard, 63 was the first batch of women who joined. So the women were unloved, some 3 words that is used, not respected and left out and those kind of things. So the sexist orientation. And it's glad that it's coming out and people are recognizing it at that level. And then to be, heading the first woman to be heading investment banking in India, first woman to be the CEO of HSBC Bank. I'm repeating this, but it needs to be repeated. The achievements are such that, it is pioneer, it is a legendary, it is like path-breaking trailblazer. So I have to, as CEO, and then to be on the board of HSBC, the first CEO, on the board of Nestle, again the first woman from India. So there are many firsts to her credit, including being the recent past president of FICCI, which also after, I think, some 80, first woman president, after some 80 long years of the organization being in existence. So it definitely deserves accolades. Yes, a round of applause, certainly. This will encourage more women who are coming forward. They have come on the shoulders of those who've gone before us, and there are more women who will come on what trail they leave behind. So I have to ask Naina that what in your view, in your analysis, is the reason that after acquiring tremendous set of qualifications, after putting in the kind of work women do, why is it that only a handful reach the top? And more importantly, there were women who were with you right from the college you went to, LSR, of course, which is an all-girls college. Right at Harvard, I'm sure there must be some women students who must be there with you, and later on. So in all this, what is it that, why women drop out? And more importantly, what are those factors which are not applicable to you? How? How did it happen? What is the secret?
These are very big questions, but clearly the reasons are well known. Women have dropped out of the workplace quite commonly because of pressures from home. And even today, I'm very struck by the fact that when I meet women who work with my organization or address gatherings that are broader than just people who work with us, even young unmarried women, the question they ask is, so how do you manage house and home and work? So it's on every young woman's mind, it's there on the minds of working women, and this whole issue of balancing home and office is an issue. And the only answer I have to that is each person has to find their own balance. And you find it either because you enjoy your work so much you don't want to give that up, it is an integral part of you. No one will ever choose to give up family. So it is about really ensuring that you can find that balance for yourself. And for some it means dropping out of the workplace for a while. For others it means that they take off prescribed time, and organizations have become a lot easier in that respect. The organization I work for at that time was seen as quite generous, having 3 months maternity leave. Today at HSBC we give 6 months maternity leave, and an additional 6 months can be taken as unpaid, combined with privilege leave, etc., etc. So if the person were to take a year, it would not be frowned on. And then